Hey everybody, this is Captain Kyle and we're here with a special toy versus toy triple edition. Today we have Siege Astrotrain versus Platinum Edition Reissue Astrotrain versus Henkei Astrotrain. So let's get started with toy versus toy. So first up is the robot modes. This is the robot mode of Siege Astrotrain. He is a very cool looking toy. The coloration is definitely very similar to the G1 cartoon. His legs are very poseable and bendable. However, due to the wings on the side, he does not quite manage to pass the Jean-Claude Van Damme test. The arms have a great deal of motion. Obviously at the shoulders, the elbows, he can swivel. And if you don't mind him looking weird, you can even bring his shoulders way up here. He does not have any waist articulation, but overall a very nice looking figure, very poseable and well armed. Now Siege Astrotrain comes with this weird like additional car slash attachment, kind of like what the Shockwave in the Siege line comes with, just some extra parts for him. And I have to say, not a big fan of this type of add-on pieces. It's not even really a trailer. Attaching it to him gives him a little bit of extra height and this very odd looking backpack. I mean, is he giving rides to other Decepticons when in this mode? Also, the guns are very interesting because he comes with like 4 regular guns and a missile pod. They can actually combine into this rather huge gun, which looks pretty cool, but he's definitely compensating for something. But again, very cool looking robot mode. Definitely a great figure overall. Now, what can I say about the Platinum Edition reissue? It's the exact same mold as the original G1. The colors are wacky. Looks like something out of either the Generation 2 European line or maybe even just the G2 line in the US. Absolutely no leg articulation, just like the original. The arms can swivel at the shoulders, and you need to be careful because of his chest piece. He can bang on that. He can point his gun out to the side. He can point his gun forward. And that's pretty much it. All of the G1 molds, you know, nice looking figures, but not a heck of a lot of posability, with very few exceptions. His gun is identical to the original G1 gun, only it's not purple. It's the orange to match all these orange highlights. Definitely a conversation starter. And now the Henkei Astrotrain, the Japanese version of the classic Astrotrain that came out in the US. The classics one being more space shuttle-y colors, white and such. But the Henkei version definitely looking more like the show G1 colors. Great head sculpt. Now his legs, he could kick forward. He could bend at the knee, though his knees were kind of set high inside his legs. So he has very long shins, very short thighs. And while he can do the Jean-Claude Van Damme, the wings here make it so that he can't actually hit the ground. So he would definitely need to be suspended between 2 chairs. No waist articulation. His arms do have a great deal of articulation. He can move the shoulder, bend at the elbow. He can swivel. Pretty much a full range of motion. His forearms mount the bullet train parts, so from the side it doesn't necessarily look like an arm, but on the inside you can see the arm is there. And with the coloration, again being more accurate to the show, it's definitely a very cool figure. And he comes with just the one gun, which happens to be gray, which fits in nicely with his color scheme. Okay, on to Shuttle Mode. So for the Siege version, the Shuttle Mode is pretty cool. It actually reminds me a bit of Blast Off, the Amazon exclusive, with all the weapons actually added to his vehicle mode. Definitely couldn't blend in as a NASA shuttle. I think this breaks so many international space treaties that it's ridiculous, but he's definitely a well-armed spacecraft. Aerodynamic, I wouldn't go that far as re-entering the atmosphere. Still a very military looking shuttle. The weird add-on piece does become a launch pad for Astrotrain. Not that I thought he needed one, but I guess it's kind of cool for showing them boarding, loading, and the transformation is pretty clever, not too difficult. The Platinum reissue, definitely a very cool shuttle. Looks very shuttle-like. Doesn't have any armament. Unfortunately, you can't add the gun anywhere, but it looks very cool. I mean, identical to the original G1 toy. So my nostalgia sense is definitely tingling with this one. The Henkei Space Shuttle is a very cool looking space shuttle. It is kind of a little marred by the fact that you can see the front ends of the bullet train on either side of the shuttle. Nice nose cone, good wings. I love the chrome thrusters and the metallic shine in the back. Overall, a cool looking toy. You can attach the gun to the bottom. He's not as overtly armed, but he is armed. Can't all be overarmed like the Siege guys. But overall, a cool looking shuttle. I like it. It's very similar in size to the original. And aside from these bullet train parts on the sides, still a pretty cool looking toy. Next is Train Mode. So the Siege Train, a pretty cool looking version of the train. Rolls along, kind of the old style locomotive, but definitely looks like it's got a lot of power. It's thick, I guess with 2 C's. You can attach the extra piece to the back to make it into an even longer train. And of course, every train needs to have weapons sticking out in all directions. So there are plenty of places to add the armament so he can shoot all kinds of Autobots and humans and raccoons as he goes down the railway. So overall, I would definitely say this is a very cool toy in all modes. Platinum reissue, very cool toy. Again, super reminiscent of the original. Some nice detailing on the sides for the wheels for the train. It rolls, and again, a great piece of nostalgia. Nowhere to put the gun. This is not an armed train. And finally, the Henkei in Train Mode. This is a bullet train, not the steam locomotive looking versions that the other figures transform into. This is much more modern looking. You can put the gun right on the top. It rolls along, presumably at faster speeds than the other 2 Astrotrains. Though with the wings down the side here, this is not a perfect triple changer. It's not really, you can kind of tell it has other modes pretty easily. But of course, with the jet nozzles in the back, this thing could probably fly down the track. But overall, a cool looking, updated train for Astrotrain to change into. And here's a final shot of them all together as a size comparison. As you can see, Siege Astrotrain towers above the others, followed by, of course, the Henkei Astrotrain, who's just a bit taller than the reissue Platinum Edition. So which do you think is better? The Siege version, the reissue in the odd colors, or the Henkei version? You can vote right up here. Let me know which one you think is the best. You can also leave some comments down below. Let me know if you prefer a different version of Astrotrain, and if you enjoyed the triple versus format, and what other toys would you like me to review. In the meantime, we have some other videos over here you can check out. You can subscribe right down there. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know when we put out new videos, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next time. Have fun and good hunting.